Isn't it time for Tom Baker to return to Doctor Who? Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Scott here from Can Geek Games and Collectibles. Welcome as always to the Can Geek YouTube channel. And it's been just over a week since the announcement that both Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker are departing Doctor Who. And this announcement got me to thinking about something, and I'm gonna suggest this to you here right now. While they are on the hunt for someone to replace Whittaker as the next Doctor, isn't it time for Tom Baker to return to Doctor Who? Now, to be clear, I'm not talking about a return in the form of the Big Finish audiobooks, of which Baker has done a few. I'm talking about a physical return to Doctor Who. And my thought process regarding this comes from one scene that aired during the 2013 Day of the Doctor special on November the 23rd. I'm talking about this scene right here.
I could be a curator. I'd be great at curating. I'd be the great curator. I could retire and do that. I could retire and be the curator of this place.
You know, I really think you might.
I never forget a face.
I know you don't. And in years to come, you might find yourself revisiting a few, but just the old favorites, eh? You were curious about this painting, I think. I acquired it in remarkable circumstances. What do you make of the title?
Which title this to? No more. Oh, Gallifrey Falls.
Oh, you see, that's where everybody's wrong. It's all one title. Gallifrey Falls no more. Now, what would you think that means?
The Gallifrey didn't fall. It worked. It's still out there.
I'm only a humble curator. I'm sure I wouldn't doubt.
Then where is it?
Where is it indeed?
Yes.
Lost. Shh. Perhaps. Things do get lost, you know. Now you must excuse me. Oh, you have a lot to do.
Do I? Is that what I'm supposed to do now? Go looking for Gallifrey?
Well, it's entirely up to you. Your choice. I can only tell you what I would do. If I were you... Oh, if I were you... Oh, perhaps I was you, of course. Or perhaps you are me.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Or perhaps it doesn't matter either way. Who knows? Who knows?
All right, so consider this for a minute. Tom Baker is 87 years old, and, you know, let's be honest about it. The days in front of him are far outnumbered by the days behind him. So the possibility of him making a live-action return to Doctor Who gets slimmer and slimmer as each day passes by. Now, there was a fairly large gap left open at the end of Day of the Doctor, as you just saw from that scene. Matt Smith's Doctor sits down in the museum. He's approached by the curator, and he recognizes his face, and we ultimately learn that the curator is a future incarnation of the Doctor, and that, you know, throughout time, the Doctor will choose to revisit some of his or her favorite faces. Now, here's a thought for you. And this will come off sounding like fan fiction, but honestly, if this, didn't make its way into a future season of Doctor Who, potentially this could be done as a one-off special. Jodie Whittaker's Doctor regenerates at the end of the next season. The Doctor regenerates into the Curator. The Curator is traumatized by all of these secrets of the Doctor's past that have been revealed. The fact that the Doctor is in fact not a child of Gallifrey. The Doctor decides to retire to a place that they've always considered home, that being Earth, and they spend an undetermined amount of time in retirement on Earth. Now, perhaps after the Curator's engagement with Matt Smith's Doctor from Day of the Doctor, the Curator decides that they want to go out on one more adventure. So they make their way to their TARDIS and go off on one more grand adventure, which will ultimately lead to their regeneration into whomever actually replaces Jodie Whittaker as the next Doctor. It kind of comes off sounding like fan fiction. I mean, it's a thought that's been running through my head for a few years now about the idea of Tom Baker somehow making a final return to Doctor Who. Let's be honest, the Fourth Doctor is still considered by many to be one of the best Doctors ever. And this would give the BBC the perfect opportunity to close off what is basically a gaping hole left at the end of Day of the Doctor. Okay? So they close off, that story arc, and then they move forward into whomever ends up being the next Doctor. It would be a great way to, acknowledge Tom Baker for all of his contributions to Doctor Who, and it would, pay a certain amount of service to longtime fans. So, again, this comes off sounding like fan fiction. It'll probably never see the light of day. But if you think that this sounds like something that would be kind of interesting, then leave me a comment down below and let me know if this is something you would ideally like to see the BBC pull off. On a side note, I'd also be interested in hearing, who do you think Jodie Whittaker's replacement should be on Doctor Who? I'm not going to get into comments about criticizing Whittaker as a doctor. Honestly, this lady had an uphill battle to fight from the moment she was announced, and the horrid writing of Chris Chibnall did her no favors whatsoever. But, there are a lot of actors, obviously, that could replace her. A lot of actors and actresses, to be specific. So I would really love to hear, who ideally would you like to see replace Jodie Whittaker in the TARDIS? And in the meantime, again, let me know what you think about the prospect of at least a one-off special with Tom Baker to close off that loop that was left open in Day of the Doctor. Anyways, thanks very much for watching this video and for continuing to support us here at Can Geek Games and Collectibles. It's greatly appreciated. Wherever you're watching this video from, we appreciate you, and thanks very much. Stay safe. We'll talk again soon. Ciao for now.